Hi, I'm Pam Hiller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica, our corporate marketing specialist.
Today we're here to show you how to make our Go Starry Night wall hanging. Listen, we are both so in love with this great block on board die and so excited to show you how to use it that we both wanted to be in the video for you.
From the moment we both sewed our first test block, I think we knew this was going to be a big hit with our quilters. So we are super excited to show you this. It looks really complicated to make, but it's really quite simple with the die.
There are so many things to love about this die and this project. Let's take a good look at it and show you how the die is laid out. Now, the first thing that I love is this die can be used in any of our cutters, including our Go Me. I also love that a design, it looks complex with points that you would normally make with paper piecing, but actually it comes out perfect every time using the die. Next, the pieces are arranged on the die board to make your cutting a snap. This is one color and these are the other colors. Now quilters, this pattern is a free download at AccuQuilt.com, so you may want to pause, download the pattern, and then come back and follow along on our video.
We've got some tips for you, and the first one is that when you're going to get started, we both recommend making a test block, because I think we both did that before we got started, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and it's always a good idea. But I wanted to make sure I understood how this block went together before I got started. Yeah. Now for this pattern, we're going to use just 3 fabrics. But this would be a great scrappy project, like Erica's test block.
You want to follow the directions for how to prep your fabric for this, and that actually leads us to our next tip.
Right, now the next thing you want to pay attention to is making sure that all of the fabric is cut with the right sides facing up. Trust me, this is not the time to be fan folding. You only need to make 9 blocks for this super quick wall hanging. Since we're only making 1 block today, we're going to cut 4 of shapes A and C and 2 of shape D and B in both of our colors. So well within the 6 layer limit.
Perfect. Again, be sure to follow your fabric prep directions in your pattern, and you want to pay attention to lengthwise grain. You want to be sure that that lengthwise grain is parallel to those lengthwise blades as it goes through the cutter. Pam's going to go ahead, get our mat on it, and run it through the cutter for you so we can see those pieces. And again, like Pam said, this would fit in any of our cutters, even the Go Me.
I know, I love that. All right, now we're going to give that mat a little bit of love. Static is built up as the die has come through the cutter, and then I'm going to slide my mat, don't lift. And now look, you can see we've cut all the pieces perfectly.
Let's lay it out so we can see what we need to do. We're going to get started with the sewing, but again, like we mentioned before, you want to keep track of your pieces. So we're going to show shape A and B together, and those specialized dog ears are going to fit them together just perfectly. Pam, I'll do your sewing if you hand me your pieces.
Perfect. And you'll notice, quilters, we've screen printed the letters, so they're going to be able to know which pieces are shape A and B. And I'll put these together for you, Erica, and then you can just chain piece for days.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's my favorite thing. Now, are you a sew with your shoes on or sew with your shoes off kind of gal?
Well, you know, I kind of do a little both, but I sew with mine on a lot more than you do. But part of that's because my sewing room is in my basement, and there were, you know, some scary things down there. So
yeah.
I also have a dog who likes to lay underneath my sewing table.
So once Erica has chain pieced these, then I'm going to just press them open for you. Remember, quilters, you want to press your seams open.
Yeah, that's really going to help reduce your bulk, I think, on this block. And we've got one more piece. Perfect. And get this cut off.
Great.
And Pam,
I have my little scissors here.
and we're going to press those open again.
Great.
And that's going to be in the directions for you, so.
There we go.
It's putting up a fight.
It takes a minute. Takes a minute to start that pressing. All right, there's the first AB unit.
Okay. And now we're going to be sewing shape C onto this next. And again, we've got that chain piecing thing going here. So you want to hand me the PCs while you're pressing?
Sure. Oh, right there.
There we go. And this is going to go now. Let's make sure I have it right.
Yes, you want to follow the instructions because, to be honest, I sewed one of my blocks wrong like that because I didn't read the instructions about which way shape C goes.
Well, the pattern is really going to, the pieces are really going to show you because the specialized dog ears are really going to show you exactly how you need to have those. So that is great. And that's one of the things I loved about this because I may have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I think that takes us back to what we said about that tip about the test block, right?
Make a test block. So look how we're just chain piecing this together. I think, Erica, that was one of the big selling points for me was I didn't have to just keep trying to create the blocks again. I could just start to chain piece.
You know, and really that wall hanging goes together so quickly because you don't need that many blocks.
No, just 9.
Okay, I'm going to grab your scissors here and clip one off so you can show how to press these seams open too.
Perfect.
You know, it's kind of nice when you sew by yourself. You don't have anybody there to do the pressing for you.
I was just thinking the same thing. We should sew together more often.
We don't get a chance to do that very often, do we?
Not hardly enough.
And
Cut my
okay,
edge off here.
don't burn yourself.
Nope.
We may have had an incident with that already today. Just saying.
Just saying.
Okay, this is the last one.
Perfect. So look how easy that is going together, quilters. Notice you're using my favorite grunge.
Yes.
I am a great lover of grunge. All right, now Erica, let's show them how to lay down that last piece.
Right, so we're going to be putting, the trickiest part I think is that we want to match things up, okay? But if we put our D on and match it up, we're not going to get our star to lay out right. So we're actually going to have to go opposites with this and not match up. So we have to fight our natural instinct there.
There you go.
So I'm going to get these going, and then we're going to have those 4 units and be ready to start putting the block together. I'm so excited to show you guys. This goes together so well.
I need to teach Oakley how to press, and then she and I could sew so much better together. All right,
Do you have to do the pressing for her?
I do. I do.
Yeah, that's probably safer that way, but
she's just such a little person. All right, here we go. So notice again, we're going to match up the opposite colors. I love Erica's block because it's completely scrappy. So think about in your stash, those pieces that you would think, oh, I'd love to put these together in a scrappy version. Is that kind of what you did, just found?
It is. I had, you know, we were working with some test blocks, and which is one of the most fun things that Pam and I get to do.
We do. We get to test dye.
And I had some random pieces of fabric out, and I thought, okay, this is going to work really well. And really, the die is laid out so well, it makes it super easy to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to cut some of your pieces here.
Okay. She's anxious.
I know. Wait till you see it. It's so cool. Okay, I have learned a little pressing tip. When we get to this point, so now we have 4 pieces on there, you want to press from the fat end to the skinny end. And that way your star points are going to come together perfectly.
You didn't share that with me.
Oh, I should have told you that.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. So see, if I press from the fat end to the skinny end, then those points lay flat there.
Oh,
I know.
great.
All right, we're going to put these two because I think these are the opposite and you can sew them
good.
together.
I'll stay out of your way. She has a hot iron.
I have a hot iron. Not afraid to use it.
Okay.
There you go.
So if we've got this,
There you go.
then this one's going to go, wait,
There.
there.
That's correct.
Okay. Perfect.
We're going to do the same thing on the other half. And I'm going to tell you, quilters, when I made my wall hanging, I truly just did 4 layers at a time and just sewn one block together at a time. Because life kind of gets in the middle sometimes, and then if you have all these pieces, you're just like, oh, I get a little anxious there.
I was really concerned when I did my scrappy one of getting it laid out correctly, but it went together really well. If you're concerned about getting confused with your pieces, don't hesitate to use some pins. I know I pin, Pam doesn't always pin.
Erica pins all the time.
But that's when you come from garment sewing, you pin.
Yes.
That's what I learned about quilters. So then if this one,
Yep, I'll take your piece.
okay. So show me how I
Yep.
lay that down so I know. So then this one goes there.
Yep.
And then this one is gonna go on this side.
Look how cool that is.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I like to use my little shovel iron when I'm doing my blocks, but then when they're all done, I have a tendency to use my big iron and press them.
I think there's something about the weight of that bigger iron to really get them pressed together. And I know some people don't press in between, but I have to.
I do too.
There you go. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Let's see which
And once you've got this block together, it's really simple to go ahead, get your rows together. We've got 3 rows of 3.
right? So you could make this into a wall hanging, or you could do a fun pillow, would be really fun with Scrappy. Okay, Miss Erica, hold on here. I've pressed here so you can sew that together. But you could make a whole quilt. I mean, the blocks are so easy to go together.
Okay, and you got me all set up for success here, which I do appreciate.
Again, if you're having a hard time putting your pieces together, feel free to pin those pieces. Did you pin yours when you made yours?
I did.
Yeah.
I think that I probably, and typically what I find myself doing is I pin when I first get started, and then usually I will, by the time I'm making my 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th block, then pretty soon I'm not using my pins anymore.
Right.
So. I think I may have gotten talking and gotten off on my seam allowance here, but that's okay because you can see I made a good one.
She did.
It's this whole standing up. I don't stand up to sew. I know some quilters actually do stand up to sew. I do not. I sit.
Yeah. All right, quilters.
Moment
See
of
how we
truth.
did.
Well, if I can open it up.
Oh, look at how fun this is. So now I would take my big iron and I would press it down, and look how our points came together. And what you really want to notice is that right here, see, this is the other half of this star point and this star point. And so it gives it such a great look.
So once the top is sewn together, you want to give it a good press. Go ahead and layer it with your batting and your backing. Pin it, baste it, quilt it however you would like.
You'll finish it off with binding, and don't forget to miter those corners. Quilters, this is such a showstopper project, and we know that you will find many ways to use this great die.
Don't forget to download the pattern for this project for the full directions at AccuQuilt.com.
And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.